The knocking wasn't knocking. It was a demand. Fists. Palms. The sound of entitlement trying to break wood. "Open up," my brother shouted. "We know you're in there." I didn't move. I stood in the hallway, lights off, listening to my parents' familiar silence, how they always let him speak for them. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A neighbor's text. "Do you need help?" I didn't reply. I opened the door when the noise had done its damage. My brother stepped forward like he owned the floor beneath my feet. Smiling. Hungry. My father avoided my eyes. My mother's lips were already tight with judgment. "Living the good life all by yourself, huh?" My brother said, scanning my home like a thief casing a job. "Hand over the money." I said nothing. I reached into my jacket and pulled out an envelope. I wasn't always the quiet one. I was just the reliable one. I left early. Worked late. Paid my way. When my brother dropped out of school for the third time, I sent rent money to my parents. When he borrowed my car and returned it with a dent, I swallowed it. I learned young that praise in my family was scarce, but expectations were endless. I built my life brick by brick while they watched from a distance, uninterested, until the structure stood tall enough to cast a shadow. I never hid my success. I just didn't announce it. That was my mistake. The red flags came softly. My brother started asking questions that weren't curiosity, they were inventory. How much I worked. Who my clients were. Whether I owned or rented. My mother asked about my savings just to make sure you're secure. My father asked nothing. He never did. Then the compliments stopped, replaced by jokes. Then jokes sharpened into accusations. "Must be nice. Some people forget their family. You think you're better than us now?" I felt the shift before I understood it. Something had been calculated without me. The betrayal didn't explode. It clicked into place. A banker friend called me one evening. Casual tone. Too casual. He asked if I'd authorized a credit inquiry under my name for a loan I hadn't requested. The address attached wasn't mine. It was my parents'. My brother had tried to leverage my income to secure debt in my name. He'd assumed access. Assumed consent. Assumed I wouldn't notice. I remember the moment clearly. The calm. Not rage. Not panic. Focus. That's when I stopped feeling hurt and started thinking 3 moves ahead. Silence became my weapon. I pulled records. Emails. Voicemails. Screenshots of messages where my brother bragged about family money. I requested transcripts. Froze accounts. Flagged my credit. I spoke to a lawyer who didn't interrupt me once. I didn't confront them. I let them believe their plan was working. I prepared documents the way surgeons prepare instruments. Clean. Precise. No emotion. Every lie needs an audience. I decided to give them one. Back at the door, my brother laughed when he saw the envelope. "There we go," he said, reaching for it. "See? Wasn't that hard?" I held it just out of reach. "You should read it," I said. He scoffed, but tore it open anyway. Papers spilled onto the floor. Not cash. Not checks. His smile collapsed first. Then my mother's breath caught. My father finally looked at me. Inside the envelope were copies. Loan applications. Forged signatures. A cease and desist. A restraining order draft. And the final page, my lawyer's notice informing them that any further attempt to access my finances would result in criminal charges. My brother's hands trembled. "This is a misunderstanding." "No," I said calmly. "This is documentation. I stepped back and let the silence do the rest. My mother tried to speak. Words failed her. My father looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. "You came here to take," I continued. "You didn't come to talk. Or apologize. You came to collect something you decided was yours." My brother looked at the house again. Not like a prize, like a locked door. "You don't get to knock anymore," I said. "This conversation is over." They left without another word. I watched from the doorway as my brother's confidence bled out with every step. He didn't look back. He never does when there's nothing left to grab. I closed the door gently. No slam. No drama. That night, I slept better than I had in years. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispers perfectly timed in an envelope you never saw coming. They wanted my money. What they got was the truth and the cost of underestimating my silence.